Knowing that the road to becoming Hokage would be a long one, Naruto had always had faith in his own patience. But as he chased down the Fire Lord's wife's pet kitten for the umpteenth time that afternoon, he found himself entertaining thoughts of premeditated murder. "It's little wonder it's always running away," muttered Rai. With varying looks of pity on their faces, they watched the pig of a woman press the squirming kitten against her folds of chin fat in a show of fervent adoration. As the woman pulled out several crisp bills of Rio from her handbag, the kitten wriggled out of her grasp again and began to race for freedom towards the exit. Noting the look of extreme terror on its small face, it was only half-heartedly that Naruto grabbed the animal and returned it to its owner's claws. It had been several months since Team 7 had passed Kakashi's test, and in the days following, they had carried out a long, repetitive series of D-rank missions. Most of these missions involved mundane odd jobs that posed little to no risk to their lives, and they were getting restless. Nonetheless, Naruto was pleased with their Jonin sensei. The man understood the significance of chakra manipulation, and when Naruto demonstrated his own experimentation with his wind affinity, seemed willing to teach him how to refine his control. It turned out that most Jonin were able to use at least 2 elemental chakra, with Kakashi suggesting to Naruto that he could begin training in another nature once he had mastered his wind chakra. Despite his lax appearance, Kakashi was quick to correct any flaws or inefficiencies in their forms and never seemed to lack for experience or knowledge in anything. After the trial with the bells, Naruto had never again managed to get the upper hand against their sensei. Though it was frustrating at times seeing the huge difference in their skills, it was still gratifying to know that he was learning under one of the very best Jonin Konoha had to offer. Everything about having a Jonin instructor was new for Naruto. But if he had to say, the strangest part about it all was that sometimes, it seemed to Naruto that Kakashi held no bias against him. Though the man's gaze was piercing and unapologetic, Naruto had never detected even the slightest glimmer of resentment or revulsion. He couldn't quite rule out the possibility that the Jonin's capability to control his emotions simply exceeded his own ability to detect them. But despite his apprehension, sometimes Naruto even thought that Kakashi seemed interested in teaching him. It was an odd feeling. Naruto tried to quash it, and yet, against his will, he found himself going out of his way to approach Kakashi. Gradually, as Team Kakashi grew more experienced, they began to be given C-rank missions. C-rank missions were missions anticipated to have some combat involved with the possibility of injury, and the 3 genin eagerly snapped up every opportunity they got. To Naruto's perplexity, the 3 of them worked well together. Despite his initial apprehension regarding Rai in particular, after their success in Kakashi's bell test, Rai had proved to be responsive and willing to follow Naruto's directions. And while Mayu had yet to directly address Naruto, she silently followed Rai. In terms of their abilities, they were a well-balanced team. Mayu was their scout, being easily the best at stealth and having a certain affinity with birds that allowed her to transmit messages over distances. Her strength in genjutsu was also promising, and Naruto could think of a variety of uses for it, such as being able to detain the target before he or Kakashi arrived. Rai on the other hand specialized at handling long-range weapons, and was able to provide a steady stream of backup artillery on all their missions. Meanwhile, Naruto, who preferred close combat, was their main offensive power in taking down the target. He had begun receiving kenjutsu instruction from Kakashi, and had taken to strapping a tanto across his back. Their first 2 C-rank missions involved capturing dangerous wild animals that had been spotted around the lands of Konoha. Their 3rd mission, however, was their first ever bodyguard duty. The mission's objective was to escort the caravan of a wealthy silk merchant and his family to the village of Yukikure in the land of hot water. Mayu and Rai flanked the caravan, with Naruto at its lead and Kakashi watching over from the back. Though the 3 genin were initially enthusiastic about their duties, the energy that had been bubbling within them at the start of their trip had all but dissipated by the 4th day. Having reached the last leg of their journey with little incident, the 3 were now dirty and tired. It was a matter of unfortunate timing that it was their sensei's turn to sleep when the rogue bandits attacked the caravan. It was the middle of the day, and everything seemed normal. Rai was laughing with the merchant's children, while Mayu watched them with a smile on her face. From his place at the front, Naruto was listlessly still scanning the distance in search of anything that looked out of place. He hadn't slept in over a day, and he was really looking forward to switching positions with Kakashi. When he noticed a slight disturbance in the distance, he paused and focused on it. However, after nothing had happened for several minutes, he dismissed the disturbance as a false alarm. He had only just returned his attention to the immediate vicinity, when suddenly, with an exploding sound, a wagon behind him burst into flames. Immediately leaping to his feet, Naruto converged on the burning wagon while Mayu and Rai rose up protectively around their patron's family. Kakashi joined him a second later looking completely alert, and together, they used water techniques to douse the flames. Even as the last flame sizzled out however, 2 more wagons had burst into flames. Sensing several shuriken spinning directly towards him, Kakashi flipped out of the way. As he did so, Naruto deflected several kunai away from the main wagon. He missed one that had been sent later than the rest, and the kunai embedded itself into the glass of the window, cracking it. From behind it, Naruto could see the shivering pale face of the merchant, a corpulent old man with thinning hair. Suddenly, there was a flash of black as a cloaked man leaped at the merchant, his eyes gleaming with the intent of murder. Before Naruto could react, the jonin besides him had disappeared. There was a cracking sound as Kakashi twisted the man's head in midair, instantaneously killing him, before jumping up to the top of the wagon where 2 more figures in black holding daggers waited for him. It had been so sudden, that Naruto jerked back. It was the first time he'd ever seen somebody die. He followed with widened eyes as the body landed on the ground with a thump. It was still. Kakashi's voice shattered through his reverie, "Naruto, the others are getting away." While he'd been distracted, 2 figures swathed in ragged cloaks had begun to head into the woods. Shame rushed warmly to his face and Naruto immediately leapt into the air. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Making 2 more shadow clones of himself, Naruto and his clones followed the remaining 2 bandits into the woods besides the road. They were evidently trained, and had some experience in dealing with other ninja. Naruto's first clone was taken out by the shorter man within seconds, though judging by the way the man reacted when the clone disappeared, he had never dealt with shadow clones before. However, they were no match for Naruto, and he had caught up to one of them within a minute. Ordering his remaining clone to follow the other bandit, he removed the tanto from his back. The man's eyes widened as he flew towards him with the tanto in hand, but before he could cry out in alarm, Naruto slid the blade across the front of his neck. A stream of red spurted out, spraying his face with warm blood. With a gurgle, the man fell to the ground. That made it the second time he'd seen someone die. However, while he'd been gawking the first time, there was a strange clarity in his head now that made it possible for Naruto to wipe the tanto on his pants before returning it to his back. Picking up the scroll that the man had been carrying, he looked around for the remaining bandit. Spotting the telltale rags getting rapidly farther away, Naruto jumped up the sides of a tree. Feeding extra chakra down to his feet, his leaps between each tree grew stronger and longer, and with his shadow clone slowing the bandit down, he soon closed the distance. Naruto could see the man from up close now. Like the others, he was not wearing any identifying hitayate. The bandit's age was inscrutable, though the face was scruffy with stubble and worn down. The man could see the Naruto too now, his features twisted in visible shock. "You're just a child," he said, just as Naruto's shadow clone reached him. The man pulled out a kunai from a pouch and waved it threateningly at him. The clone easily kicked it out of his hand, and as it spiraled into the air, the real Naruto grabbed it. Knocking the man off balance with a leg sweep, Naruto pushed the bigger man down onto his knees with his foot, and pressed the kunai against his common carotid. "Why did you attack the caravan?" he asked. When the man didn't respond, he added pressure to the blade. A thin line of vivid red appeared on the bandit's neck, and Naruto could hear the man's heart begin to beat faster. "Let me go," pleaded the man, his voice raw with desperation. "Tell me. I have a son waiting for me. He's 6. We just needed money. Please." Naruto paused. It didn't seem like the man was lying, but his mission came first. And the mission details did not include letting go a bandit who would undoubtedly attack other innocent merchants in the future. With a gurgle identical to the first man, the bandit before him fell to the ground. Red blood came bubbling out of the sides of his mouth as he attempted to say something. "Hero." The bandit choked out, before his eyes glazed over. He twitched once and then he was still. Wiping the blood off the kunai and returning it to his holster, Naruto picked up the remaining scrolls and tucked them beside his tanto on his back. As he did so, there was a flicker of movement, and Kakashi appeared beside him with the body of the other bandit. Helping Naruto shoulder the second body, they returned to the caravan. All the fires had been put out, and the bodies of the 2 bandits that Kakashi had dealt with had been arranged neatly on the side of the road for their companions to later claim. The 2 bandits' bodies were laid to rest beside them. No one in the merchant's family had been more than superficially injured, and with Naruto returning the scrolls that the two escapees had made off with, their finances were also more or less protected. Naruto mutely accepted the gushing praises of the fat man, all too aware of the still wet bloodstains on his face and clothes. While Rai gave him a nod of acknowledgement, Mayu shot him a look of fear before turning away to comfort some of the younger children. When Naruto was alone, he raised a hand and touched his face. Lowering it, he saw that his fingers were stained red. He'd taken the lives of two men in the same amount of time it'd have taken him to eat a meal. It had been so easy too, just a single slash across their necks, and they had ceased to matter. His thoughts turned to what the bandit had been trying to say in his final moments. Hero. His son's name, perhaps? By the time Kakashi told Naruto that he could rest for the rest of the journey to Yugakure while the Jonin took over his position, he was so tired that he accepted without comment. Clambering into the wagon and lying down, he immediately felt sleep envelope his weary body. The road to becoming Hokage is going to be long indeed, Naruto thought to himself as he drifted off. In his dreams that night, the bandit's body was gone from the side of the road. The only sign that it had been there was the faint trail of dirt and broken grass blades that led into the forest. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.